And he's like, I'm not doing that. Sounds like work.
He's so likable. That's the problem.
He really is. You have to respect that honesty. He's like, no, not doing that.
All right. Well, we do like to work here. So here comes the video.
We do?
But it works.
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing
and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Lemon Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA.
We don't discriminate.
As long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
tips, tricks, as well as news and notes
from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet or lucky enough. Chrissy.
And I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff, or I'll have.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to a This American Life episode of our podcast. It's not a secret we're fans of the NPR staple. And as it turns out, This American Life episode 279, airing on December 10th, 2004, was titled Auto Show, Stories About People Who Have Their Cars, for Better or Worse. So this is our episode 279, also an auto show, not nearly good as Ira Glass.
Not even a little bit.
No.
If you love your car and you're not driving it and have not run out of This American Lives yet, check out our E1R bingo card. That's something Ira will never offer for you, but that would be a good one, the This American Life bingo card. But it has to have, what's that background music they have half the time, and then
David Sedaris would be one of the blocks on there, and then it was also our
reference
founder,
to cereal.
Malatillo, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Anyway, now you've geeked out about This American Life.
Yeah. We're gonna just increase the respect by interviewing Jeff Stobbs today. Like, we're going from This American Life to a guy with a wiener eating his head. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's a Segway.
Segway. It's a hot dog on a Segway.
Hot dog
on a Segway.
Okay, so when you don't have a clue what we're talking about, you need to open up your YouTubes and check out this video. Maybe when you get home, if you're driving, that's fine, but there's going to be some more reference.
If you've got some kids behind you, they may ask a question, and the answer is Segway on a hot dog.
A Segway on a hot dog. Yes, that's
boy,
that's what it was when he was trying to hang up the flag the other way.
Yeah, you actually have to pay extra for a Segway on a hot dog.
Oh boy, it makes the wheels slip. Chrissy, what are you working on?
I'm still doing cleaning out around here. I'm trying to clean things up and do some more housework. Nothing interesting at all. You guys, I'm sure, are doing much more interesting
Can
things.
we tell it's January? We're all like,
Yep. We'll not leave
in
the house. And it's not even snowing or cold out. It's just one of those, like, I have a list of things that I want to get done in the house. So every weekend when it gets even remotely like spring, I can be outside. So, Jeff, what have you been doing?
Well, this is opening week of the semester, so I worked every day, all day. And it was cold, so I did nothing. I did take my Christmas lights down. Does that count as something? I don't know. Probably not.
Outside?
Yes, outdoors.
Mine are
ladder
still out
and
there.
everything.
They're going to stay out there for a really long time.
Yeah. No, I took them down. They're down. I'm clean.
Mine are not.
Oh.
Yeah, so Chrissy's made an executive decision.
I like them.
They are now
inside
Easter
ones are out.
decorations.
Inside are down.
Yeah. Mental, tell us about warmth. What are you working on?
I actually had kind of a busy week. On Sunday, got out and finally took my first spirited drive with the Miata. Got together with the local driving group here, and we went down through. It's a really nice drive through the Valley of Fire, and I am still really liking this car. Obviously, it's massively underpowered, but that's a good thing because you can have a lot of fun with it without going like ludicrous speeds. I did start making a list of modifications, but I found out that I'm really happy with the springs. I expected the brakes to be a little weak. The brakes are really good on that.
It's an ND, so it's
a great car.
It has massive amounts of horsepower and torque compared to like an NA.
Yes, but nothing compared to, like, I don't know, an AMG 6.3.
Yeah, sure. I think that's the problem.
The starter in the AMG has about as much power as.
Yes. If you guys remember, we had Tyler Hoffman back in 2020, and he was like doing coaching on sim racing, and he's gone on now. He's been racing the Super Trofeo Cup, and he's got an IMSA ride this year. He's coaching a team with an AMG. He was in town for a BMX race. That's one of his cross disciplines that he does. And we got to go down there and watch that. They did it inside one of the casinos. He took second in his final race. It was pretty impressive. Have some friends in town for the SHOT Show, which is a firearm enthusiast show. And a buddy of mine has patented a training aid for that. And he got us into a military networking event, which was great. Did that. And I just got this all today. The Rami show, they've been releasing the new videos. And the one I talked about, I believe it was last year, the GT2 RS versus the AMG G63 wagon, that just dropped. So yeah.
You recorded that a year ago?
It
just dropped. It wasn't that long ago.
It was in the fall. Was
it?
Yeah, it was still warm.
Oh, by last year, you mean it's like January.
Yeah, well, it's January now, but we did this. It was several months ago.
Got it.
So, yeah. And obviously for those watching on the YouTube, or even if you're listening why the echo is, we have made progress on the house, and now one of the rooms that was stripped completely bare, we've moved in there. So now I've got echo with unfinished sheetrock and stuff behind me.
But yay, progress.
Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay, progress.
Yay. Yes.
Speaking of
Michael's not living in a
progress,
roofless house anymore.
Chris, you look like you actually did something according to the notes.
I did things. I finished our new fuel quart. It
We have
is
a picture?
way
Can we see a picture?
fancier. I sent it. It's on the Slack. I did. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It's
Keep
it's way
talking,
fancier than anything we possibly need, but I needed a TIG welding project, so I did this. So it's
I'm jumping on the
I
slide.
can see this, but
There we go. Oh yeah, that's a good
so
proper.
it'll hold 4 Hunsikers plus the fire bottle plus the flag that we use to flag people in, and also it has a removable rack for the cooler we use for cooler hot swaps for ice cool shirt. So all done. 3 wheels, stronger than I expected. Like I was jumping up and down on it. Thing was not bending. I was worried it was going to be a little weak, but nope, it's fine. It's a little heavy, but oh well. We have a cart now, so that's fun.
Yay. It's much better than the Fisher Price cart that I used to move. How much wood do we have in the backyard? The cart is dead. So we needed something.
I know you shared it before, but I'll share it nice and close now so people can get a good look at it. There you go. That's really the wheels are really beefy there.
They're just Harbor Freight $9 pneumatic wheels and one of nose wheel casters, and it also has a trailer hitch for to be towed by our scooter. I just need to do the scooter part of the hitch, but the handle has basically a pin that goes down with a hole drilled in it with a locking pin. So we just need a basically half-inch hole in something in Scooty and drop the pin in, put the pin in, and the scooter can tow it.
Now I'm not gonna say that your design ethos might be a little off, but I'm just checking. Is the front wheel not centered? Like it's a 3-wheeler.
Yeah,
is
front wheel's absolutely centered.
Okay, that's just an
Have
angle
you
kind of
met
picture.
Chris like literally ever?
Well, no.
Remember the Legos that he has?
It looks like it's like I can see the center bar coming in.
It's the fire extinguishers.
The fire extinguisher is throwing it off.
Yeah. It's because the fire extinguisher is on one side of the triangle of the castering nose wheel. There's nothing on the other side yet. Actually, that's the only thing I still have to do. Is I was going to make a little gear pocket there to put like the Camelback and the radio, but didn't want to make it out of something sharp enough to damage a Camelback. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. Maybe I'll make it out of wood or something.
Or bucket, plastic bucket.
Yeah, that too. Yep.
Cool.
And then back to plane stuff. I have put plane stuff on hold for a long time. Now I'm going to make time for it. So I'm actually going to see said plane and fly said plane on Saturday. So remembering how to do private pilot stuff. Yep.
Very cool.
All right. And by now you have noticed our guest. You may have seen them in the penalty box at a Lemons race, but most likely you can find him wearing a delightfully ugly Hawaiian shirt and rounding up a bunch of miscreants in their street legal vehicles. We're excited to have Lemons Rally Master Jeff Stobbs. Jeff,
Hello.
What are you working on?
I've been yelling at my 3D printer. I have a 1968 MGB GT that I'm working on. And so I found this cool 1980s like horizontal tachometer. And so I'm trying to jam that into the dash. So I need like an insert, and my 3D printer is not cooperating. So it's caught on fire. It's keeps on delaminating itself. So eventually I'll get it,
So
or I'll make it out of
lemons. Yeah, you'll have a lemons quality 3D printer. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Every printer is terrible. The 3D, 2D, doesn't matter. They all are terrible sources of frustration.
It's just so frustrating.
Yes. Raise your hand if you could walk into a garage and touch an MG that could not run right now.
Oh, that could not run?
That could not run. Yeah.
Well, you say a garage. You make sure you don't mention your garage.
Well, it's in my father's garage 3 blocks from here.
Ours is in our trailer. That's not the garage.
Close enough.
I live in Wisconsin, but my shop is in Minnesota with my buddy Kevin, and we have like 4 MGs that don't run. So
4 times the distance. 4
times
as much power.
I think it's mental illness at this point.
I really liked my 69 MG GT. And I saw one the other day in Pennsylvania in January in nice condition. It was like a gas station somewhere.
Right.
Anyway, it was just fun to see them out. They're such nice looking cars.
They're
so
beautiful. I am a BGT fan.
Till you drive it.
Well,
even that, it's got character.
I
Lots of character, definitely. We're actually also working on an MGB race car that's a 74.
Ooh.
So we're working our way through welding.
Lots and lots. What? Wait, I'm sorry. There's an MG in Wisconsin that's rusty?
Technically in Minnesota.
Clutch my pearls.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is about living in the Midwest, you get these for free. You show up and the guy's just like, my wife's mad at me, please take this.
Yeah.
And so we load them up and we drive away and get a free car. So, well,
and then that's how you have so many of them.
Yeah. It's
not American. You can have it.
Yeah.
All right, Chrissy, do you want to?
Happens with a lot of things. I ended up with 4 Porsches just by owning one. Oh, you've got here. Take this other free one. Yeah, it goes down the hill very quickly.
Yeah, they were. They were 928s.
Well, that 2 928s and 2 914s.
New 914s, yes. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Chrissy, do you want to show Jeff how we transition?
I'm pretty sure he knows, but we're going to use the notes. Yeah.
That was fun.
Thanks.
But before we started recording, Jeff totally admitted to listening to some shows.
Yeah, the first five.
Oh.
And then, like I had said, I skipped ahead like 100.
Good.
And
That's
then
good.
Thank you.
You nailed down the concept at that point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening, don't go back to the first 5. It's all over the interwebs. You've seen it. You probably haven't seen it, but the first production all-wheel drive Corvette has been leaked. I wouldn't say that has been released. If you haven't heard, just previewed the 2024 Corvette C8 E-Ray. Yes, E-Ray. That is a hybrid all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, or I don't know exactly what the system is, Corvette. Here are the highlights. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, a tenth ahead of the current Z06, 495 horsepower LT2, which is basically the same as the base model, plus a 160 horsepower electric motor turning the front wheels through an open diff with a total of 655 horsepower, 1.9 kilowatt battery pack lives between the seats. GM says the E-Ray will start at $104,000. Oh, that's a lot. And it's only 260 pounds more than the Z06. So pre-release hype is out there. I actually think it looks better. They've really cleaned up the lines a little bit on the E-Ray. So, is it going to be a worthy adversary to the P1 or the Porsche 918? I doubt it. But the glossy mags will all put it on the cover, and they'll all get press loaners. Some of them will crash them. GM, I promise, give us a press loaner. We won't crash it.
But you will roll it into a parking lot when you don't put it into gear and leave the e-brake
because it's
on.
automatics. They're all automatics.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
Okay, fine. I'm sure you can manage to do it though.
Raise your hand if you've been if you're a Corvette owner. There
see
you
that
go.
GM? You see that GM? Huge.
I'm not raising
Corvette
my
owners
hand
on this screen.
I am not.
We are your marketing answer.
am
We
not
can totally
answer.
do this.
I've heard one source say that this is basically GM's way to have a Corvette for the guy that comes and says, I want the best Corvette. But a Z06 is totally wrong for that guy because he can't drive it on the slick tires that it comes with and all that stuff. So this way to get him the fastest one or quickest, but it's actually just more usable for driving to dinner.
Well, and I saw, I watch all the crazy YouTube videos, and a few of the people took C6, C8 Z06 models, and they got under there and they went, hey, look, this thing could be all-wheel drive. Because the tunnel is there and because they have the space in the axle or 4 axles in the front, everybody knew that the next one was going to be 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So didn't know it was going to be electric.
Cool.
Okay. Well, maybe you want to drive your all-wheel drive supercars with a little more pedigree. Jerry Perez at The Drive has you covered. The recently retired 4-time F1 champion Sebastian Vettel is shrinking his impressive car fleet. The current one on chopping block is 2012 Black Edition Nissan GTR. You get a star-owned Turbo Godzilla with only 93 miles, 93, that's it. But it will cost you 2 of those Corvette E-Rays and one with dealer markup. It is listed for €250,000 euros, roughly $270,000 American dollars, for a car you probably can't import. Even Jerry admits that's a lot of scratch for a 10-year-old GTR. But then again, Vettel. Being a Black Edition, it does come with 20-inch Ray wheels, orange brake calipers, and
sold.
Right?
Sold. Orange
And
brake calipers, sign me up.
Specific interior highlights of red on the seats and elsewhere. And that's all it says that it comes with. There's a link in our show notes.
All right. So Sebastian needs to give this to Lewis so we can give it to that rental car company and get back the one that he hooned in Japan. That's what it is.
That might add a little bit of the pedigree to it because I think, they're not, sounds like, meh, it's a lot of money for.
It's weird because it has 93 miles on it, so you can't really say that Sebastian Vettel drove it.
Somebody he did own it. Somebody probably drove it to his house, and then he didn't drive it, and then somebody drove it away. That's probably what happened. It'd be great if you just turned your mic on. You'd think after how many years in COVID,
to blow my nose and not.
That's great, but then you have to remember to take yourself off mute.
In here too, right? Is he eating?
Take yourself off mute. That's great.
I'm eating right now.
What did you want to say? I'm sorry.
I wanted nothing. No
Okay.
one likes it. GTRs aren't as good as they should be. Anyway, Lemons has certainly had its share of drivers who rates elsewhere. Most of them probably prefer to. No, they don't really. But now a multi-race Lemons veteran will be running at the Daytona 500 next month. Known for piloting an El Camino around MSR Houston, this unknown upstart named Travis Pastrana will be running the 3rd car for Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing and number 67 Toyota.
I think it's Pastrana.
Pastrana.
With multiple A's at the end.
Pastrana.
It's pasta. Rana.
Pasta Rana. I think that's
better if it was that.
I don't know.
I hope somebody walks up to him and says, "Hello, Mr. Pastarana."
Apparently, he also does some motocross and rally driving. I guess he's going to be joining Bubba Wallace and Tyler Riddick with some sponsorship from the Black Rifle Coffee Company. Apparently, he's also run super speedways in 42 Xfinity Series races, once finishing as high as 10th at Daytona 10 years ago, and some truck stuff. But hey, first Daytona 500. It's nice that guy's getting out a little more. Good for him.
That guy needs more money, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Mr.
You know
Pastor.
what? I haven't worked NSR, but everyone just talks about how nice he is. So.
Absolutely.
He is.
I'm
heard that
sure.
Yeah.
He's incredibly, and he's it's every time he shows up, it's a bigger entourage, but he kind of makes it a point to be accessible.
We can still make fun of him though.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, just making sure.
I think he would appreciate it.
Okay, good.
Now, obviously, we've got Rally Master Jeff Stobbs on the show, and we're going to be talking about Lemon's Rally and some stories and stuff like this. So I am stealing a page from our friends over at the Apex Adjacent podcast. And I'd like to start with him, but obviously our co-host would like your input. So we are doing a version of FMK Lemon's Rally cars.
I'm very excited. I'm opening them. Go ahead.
I'm opening them too.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the old thing about FMK. So in this case, the F is the car that you would take and run a rally.
Yeah.
And then you're done with. You launch it off the cliff in Alaska at the end of it. The Mary is the one that you would keep, and the Kill you would just set on fire.
Do I have to pick one?
Man, that is
all right. Metzel, you go down the list. I will share the screen so that everyone can see how fantastic it is. These three cars that you have found on RacingJunk.com.
So they're all about the same budget, which is a little excessive for a Lemon's Rally car, but I wanted a variety of topics. So our first one is a 1980 Triumph TR7, and it's in really good shape here. Jeff's going to share that one.
Yeah, here it comes.
I don't know. It's in Illinois.
There's lots of pictures too.
Yeah.
I like the leather. I like the interior.
It's got the like the Triumph wreath on the hood. It's black. It's got tan interior. There's your 30th anniversary, the commemorative whole 9 yards. It's got that Grant GT wheel, but I'm prepared to forgive it. And look at that. It's got Wisconsin plates.
But someone didn't drive this all year round in Wisconsin. This was someone's toy.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's got a carpet covering the holes in the trunk.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. The dog legs are fine, which is weird. This is a summer car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the engine bay is clean. I mean, that's the least amount of rust I've ever seen in any kind of British product in the United States.
Yeah. All right. Our second option is a 1968 Buick Riviera.
I got to move for something here. Here you go.
I was going to say, I was like, you got mad.
Here we go. We only have one picture of the Riv.
Wait, did you read the item description though?
Go ahead, Metzel, read the item description.
It's a 68 Buick Riviera GS project. Currently disassembled for restoration, but complete. Like that would scare off a single person who is listening to this.
But they take money orders, so we're good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just want to say, before we get talking too much into the Riviera here, I think this rivals the Jaguar XJS as one of the most beautiful cars ever built. Not this specific one. I think this is a beautiful car.
The early
67 is for a little better.
Yeah.
But it's a hideaway headlight, closely related to your personal luxury coupes of the era. Yeah. And it's in New Mexico, so it's going to be rust free comparison. So this is 68, so it has a slopey rear window, not a boat tail rear window. It is not. Correct. It is not a boat tail rear.
Because that's a 67.
They had figured out that was far too expensive.
Yeah, this is a terrible idea.
Maybe we should just make it flat.
65 is the one you want. Look at some pictures in this now. That's there we go.
All right. Anyway. And our last one is a 1965 Toyota Land Cruiser. Now it's the FJ40 looking, but it doesn't have a roof. It does, however, have the jump seats, and it is also located in Wisconsin,
which is a problem for me because I live in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
The seats are goofy, though. Those are out of something else.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no,
some sort of modern,
yeah,
buckets.
And you can see the rust through the paint if you look carefully in the pictures.
Do you think
it is? It is.
Let's get a little zoomy.
That picture number 2 on the right side there.
Yeah, if you look at the one of the right of the driver's side, the seam between the
right down here.
Yeah, right there, and on the driver's side is the same. And
also on
there.
Look right down here. Yeah. So what's going on right here? I don't know.
What's particularly interesting I find about this one is it's a 3-speed manual, 3 on the tree.
It is a 3 on the tree.
Oh
yeah. Oh, it was a 60s and it's a truck.
Look at this. Look at this down here. Ooh, that is.
If I'm not mistaken, this this era is a full-time 4-wheel drive. So your top speed is going to be about 45 miles an hour.
They had like 110 horsepower out of that copy of a Chevy Stowbolt 6.
Look at this. This side has got the tin worm all over it.
Yeah.
Oh, that one is just so way too close to me.
Time is coming.
We have seen the beasts. Now it is FMK time.
I mean,
Yes,
I already
first.
have my decision. Yeah.
Go ahead.
F the Triumph, because I've never kept a rally car for more than one rally. You just get rid of them immediately. I've seen you enough. Go away. Kill the Riviera because it's already dead. You can't beat a dead horse. And then definitely marry the I have a 100 series Land Cruiser, so it would be nice to have its grandpa in my driveway also.
Yeah,
And like I said, it's far too close.
far too affordable, I guess.
Yeah,
that
well,
was
the other thing is I live in-
$5,500 for that one.
Yeah, and I live in Wisconsin, so I don't care about rust. Everything's rusted, so you don't care about rust when everything's rusted. There are no.
It's
clean
nice when
cars.
things aren't rusted, though.
All right,
It
does
doesn't
anyone
happen.
want to share their FMK? I mean, I'm ready for mine.
Go for it,
I'm
Jeff.
very similar. I would F the Land Cruiser. I would crush the Riv, and I would marry the Triumph.
The problem, okay. The problem is the Triumph is a terrible rally car. It might be.
No, it's a good one. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. It's the opposite. Okay, there's a scale. The more pain you're in,
It's
the
right.
more points you get.
Okay, right
The
now.
more comfortable you in. Like when people show up, like I got a van. I'm sorry, you're losing. You're not
Okay,
gonna win.
but
okay.
a rusty 3 on the tree 4x4 with no roof.
With no roof, man, you are top 3. No matter what, I'm going to make you top 3.
Chrissy, I babe rallied Miracle the Miata.
I know.
$200.
Rallied a Miata too. That
Yeah,
was
but that's not the
$500.
point. It's the Miata.
Yeah.
Chrissy's point about it's a terrible rally car because it's not going to make it to the first checkpoint. You're going to walk into O'Reilly's and they're going to go, "A what?"
They have some parts. Yeah, but the second car that I rallied when I was still rallying was a midget, an MG midget. And my friend Kevin and I, who I do all the rallies with.
For reference, for our listeners who may not be familiar with your impressive stature, how tall are you?
Yeah, so I'm 6'2", Kevin is 6'1". So we call her, and I weighed like 50 more pounds then. And so when Eric first met us, he just kept on calling us the luxury sized gentleman.
Nice.
And we were just crammed into this little MG the whole time.
Okay.
It was terrifying. It was the worst idea. That was a Steve rally. We drove from Minnesota to Monterey to Canada and back to Monterey. It was the worst idea I've ever had. It was a lot of fun, but holy cow.
Yeah.
We had a rotating yellow light on the back so people wouldn't hit us.
That's awesome. I would marry that Triumph because
I think that thing's
I can
gorgeous.
push it most of the way to work. It'd be great. And I think I would F the Land Cruiser just for pure pain. But again, it's a 68 Buick Riviera. You know, it's a 60s small block V8. I bet you could just dump a little oil in it and squirt some starting fluid and it would run.
It's
Well,
just
after you
assembled.
put it back together. It's
Yeah, I
just
think you need to
assembled.
put it
That's the
together,
problem.
right?
Yeah.
What
I
you
guess
do on the
it's-
side of
Depends
the
on-
road.
It depends on when the rally is
That's
in relation to when we're
exactly what I was
buying the
thinking.
car.
I'm
So how-
assuming I
How
don't
much
have
time
much
do
time.
I have?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
looking at this, the engine compartment of the Triumph, there's some wonky stuff going on in there.
Yes,
There's
and
some dryer ducting.
as indicated by the Triumph badge on the
Yeah.
hood.
Some of that's
I mean,
Stocker. I
maybe-
mean, that's the best British Leyland could do in 1980s. Well, we got some dry ducting. That's
Probably,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and 1980 is like the worst year for this. Like
Yeah.
that's
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They only turned
I'm
out
last
4
to go.
cars that day.
I got to ask the question though. When we said you take it on a rally, does it have to be the Alaska rally or is it any rally? Because that
Oh,
will
no,
change my
that's-
answer.
Either of them would do well on either rally. Like,
'Cause
if
if it's-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, if basically the Riviera gets killed because it's not appropriate for either one. I don't want it forever, and I can't take it on the rally. It's not done. So I got to decide between the Triumph and the Land Cruiser. If it's the Alaska rally, I'm taking the Land Cruiser because whatever things might get in the way.
Alcan Highway. Yeah.
And actually small chance of parts better than the TR anywhere up there. And it'll probably get fixed with a rock on the side of the road. It's an old Land Cruiser.
And you can like sleeping bags are pretty good. You could just like zip up in a sleeping bag.
Well, and it's got enough ground clearance. You sleep under it and you're out of the rain. And then
and keeps the bears away from you.
Totally. So then I guess that would leave the Triumph as the M. But if it's not an Alaska rally, then I'm taking the Triumph on the rally, and I'd probably hang on to the Land Cruiser just to do some silly things.
Yeah, the Triumph is a good fall failage rally car for sure. Yeah. But I mean, according to our scoring matrix, you get a bunch of points for being British, but you would also, for the Land Cruiser, you would also get a bunch of points from being from the 60s. So they would kind of offset each other points wise.
Who's trying to win?
There's people.
Was that part of the choose on this?
Yeah, sure. For me, and I just, I have a Land Cruiser. I just want more Land Cruisers.
Weren't you just complaining about having too many MGs?
People will start giving them to you. Oh, I've got this Land Cruiser. Come get it. It's free. Just
ride me with the Land Cruiser. That sounds great. I can turn into Andy DiRossi with a envelope factory full of cars. Sure.
Oh boy. So yeah, this is all on RacingJunk, RacingJunk.com. You can post your ads for free there. This is the slightly sponsored section, so hopefully they don't mind the wiener in the background. RacingJunk.com, you can post everything for free. You can look for free if you want to have multiple pictures in your ad. What is it, Mental? $19?
Oh yeah, they just had a sale. Yeah, and you just
become a member.
The
Cruise for free.
ads paid for the better ad.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once you've done that, you could take the ads off of yours while you're scrolling through. Oh, that would be cool to have. Oh, that would be cool to have.
Yeah. Definitely make more money. Check it out, RacingJunk.com. Let's move on to listener feedback. We have listeners and they don't like our jokes. Okay. On the YouTube and the Toe Pig episode, AJ said that Zardoz bit had a real last skit on Saturday Night Live vibe to it.
I feel like that's a compliment.
Thanks.
I don't know which way that goes. Michael K added that he had done a lot of the consideration when he bought his latest tow vehicle. Two options were pickup plus enclosed trailer or 1-ton van and open trailer. He decided on the pickup because the truck is more useful as a home remodeling /engine/motorcycle hauler when not towing the enclosed, and the enclosed becomes an extra one-car garage.
True.
Yep.
Now, even after that, he needed to upgrade after a few years, and it continued on. When I upgraded my 2015 F-250 from my 1995 C2500, the primary reasons were the integrated brake controller. We talked a lot about that, with pretty good built-in sway control. And sadly, the extra mass of the truck works much better when towing the 8500, 9500 high frontal area trailer. So no more getting blown around when semis pass you and there's a crosswind, which is a very real consideration, stability when you're towing something.
Mm-hmm. And finally, on Facebook, Andrew S. shared his Subaru Crosstrek tow pig. He was hauling the car formerly known as the Mercurian Falcon, well, at least what was left of it, which has it had no drivetrain, doors, hood, or fenders. So, quote, it was totally safe to tow to Zap Rowdowser's dad's barn for the winter. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
That's about right.
One more shot to AJ. AJ, I think that definitely it was the Zardoz joke was a little tired, slow, and misunderstood. I think that's totally the last sketch of Saturday Night Live. So, you know who always stays up to see the last sketch? All right, how about this? You know who always goes to bed after Weekend Update?
Maybe so. That's probably close.
Chrissy's mom does, because she's got better things to do than to wait around.
You know who's always as good as the opening monologue from a veteran like Steve Martin?
Wow, that's a compliment.
That's very nice.
Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi.
Those cookie bribes.
Pretty much.
All right, someone do the next part.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. This is actually a bit overdue, but our guest is obviously Jeff Stobbs, rally master extraordinaire. He is the one that actually made these, and I do not wish to disparage your predecessor because he is a friend, but certainly, you know, less mean and more entertaining.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I did,
Yeah.
I did all the Steve rallies, and you got to be, those were hardcore.
Yeah. And it's not like Steve would drive across the
whole
country
thing.
when he could fly. He would drive from New England to Texas to do the rally and then drive someplace else. So he wasn't being like Ellen mean. He just thinks that's how people live.
That's how people live. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So you are currently the rally master of Lemons, but that's not all that most people know about you. Why don't you begin with a little bio? Tell the world what they want to know about you.
Well, I
because
mean,
we could do it, but we didn't do any research. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm a bad Google search anyway. So I mean, I grew up in San Diego, so it's really easy to get into car culture back there. My friend Marie and her brother Will had a 1965 Mustang that their dad put like a boat carburetor on. So it was just absolutely awful and never worked. So that was a good time. And then in 2016, my buddy Kevin emailed me and said, we're doing this. And I said, we can't afford 24 hours of Lemons. We can't afford a race car. And he said, no, you idiot, there's a rally now. And so that's how I got involved in that. The first car that we rallied was a Cadillac Eldorado Brougham with the diesel in it.
Nice.
Yeah. So he drove that from North Dakota to Monterey. And then we did he picked me up at the airport. We did the entire rally. And then on the way back to North Dakota, the Eldorado got sent to Valhalla and was towed away after the engine block cracked. So that was kind of started the tradition of making the cars go away after the rally. Then we rallied the MG Midget, which we ended up selling to now the Crawford Museum. Go ahead, Mental.
Well, I was gonna say, it wasn't that after you rear-ended somebody.
I was asleep. Okay, and Kevin had decided to use a cane from a truck stop as the cruise control. Kevin also
there's no fail in this plan.
Yeah,
oh my God, he just wedged it in there. So Kevin also grew up in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. Like his parents owned a pig farm. Like, so he's really good at gravel roads, but you put him on a freeway and he's just like the tailgate champion. So we rammed into the back of a Dodge Avenger. And I'm pretty sure that because the brakes didn't really work when we left. We almost drove off the side of PCH a couple times. But we're pretty sure that he brake checked him to get in the accident because the guy's like, oh, I just got in an accident last week. And we're like, okay. So we ended up putting it back together, removing the hood, getting a radiator from a Cadillac that we ratchet strapped to the front of the MG. And then I realigned the headlights with rocks that I found at the truck stop. So we taped it all back together. And then we drove from Seattle down to Monterey and ended up finishing the rally. And like I said, the director of the Crawford Automotive Museum and Aviation Museum, Bradley Brownell, bought it from us for $300. Then it got driven around California for a while, and I kept on getting tickets for toll violations. And because it was on the back.
Bradley didn't retag it?
We've had
it never drove
like 4 times.
Yeah.
And never told us that.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Yeah, so I just like, dude, can you take the plate off, man? Come on.
Nope.
And then I think the guy who runs the Porsche Punks page might have bought it for a while, and now it's lost to the wind. So after the MG experience, we ran a 28-foot limo that we painted like the car from Initial D. It only had second and third gear. Also, I bought a carbon monoxide detector, and I thought it was broken because it kept on going off in the back of the
smart
limo.
move.
Oh my
move.
goodness.
This thing's
And I was
definitely
letting
faulty.
What?
And my kid, so my kid
It keeps beeping and making me dizzy and nauseous.
My kid was like 11, and he loved riding in the back. And so then I was like, well, I'll take the one from the house, and I threw it in there, and it started beeping. So we made some decisions, and no one was allowed in the back during the rally in the back of there.
Wow.
So those are our 3 big rallies. I guess the limo got the most traction, I guess, on social media because the roadkill guys were doing the rally at the same time. And we just had decided once we found out that they were going, like, I'm going to beat the guy in flip-flops. Like, I don't care what I have to do. We're beating the guy in flip-flops. Like, I don't care. So we were, and during that rally, I actually got a Lemons Rally tattoo in Buffalo while Kevin drove around in the limo getting checkpoints. So, and that was only worth 150 points, which is kind of screwed up, I think.
The tattoo?
Yeah. It's still on. It's permanent.
No, I didn't realize the tattoo was part of the.
It was fortuitous that I mean, get that.
Yeah. I mean,
it could have gotten worse things, but still, right?
I mean, I'm already kind of covered in tattoos. So I was like, yeah, what's one more? And
you should ask Jeff about his tattoo story.
No, we don't need to.
Okay, fine.
I'll ask you at a race sometime.
That's true. Yes. That's fine.
Steve was just kind of like, big deal, man. And like just gave us 150 points and that was the end of it. And I was like, I thought that would do a lot better.
I thought I'd have a winner now.
Had you been running the Lemons Rally? Oh yeah, you've won hands down. And Steve was like, well, did you give it to yourself with a ballpoint needle and an ink pen?
Yeah. So that's my rally history. And Eric Rude and I, when did we start hanging out? Probably the next Moscow that I dressed up like Napoleon for the whole time. We started hanging out. Yeah, and we just kind of started helping out with the rally. Like I helped with registration and some other stuff. And Eric and I have just become really good friends over the years. Actually, it's kind of strange when you spend this. I mean, we probably have 1,000 hours of with each other in a car, just sitting next to each other in the middle of nowhere. So you learn a lot about each other. Yeah, like a lot. So I ended up.
Is this your midget?
No, that's Max's.
That's Max. Okay.
Oh yeah, no. This was
yours was
way uglier even before that.
Yeah, this is 2017. So that's when Steve was doing media. So it was just like blurry images from a flip phone.
Yeah, nice. I'm searching Lemons Rally, #Lemons Rally on Instagram. You can find a lot of pictures there from all the Lemons Rallies. Just trying to give your social media a shout out here.
Yeah, it's well, not only do we take photos, we've gotten rid of the mascots, which some people are very upset about. I'm sorry, Steph. But
yeah,
we didn't know about it, so we worked hard on the one that Chris just went on. He's on the mantle over there, and and then
did you ban them, or you just didn't make them mandatory?
You still can have one. I go ahead and add it in pictures, but we realized, hey, this is a thing about cars, and all we do is get like weird blurry pictures of people driving by the checkpoint with their mascot held out the window.
You're right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It was convenient for some things that were really hard to get the car up near. You take a picture, back it off, and then you go up nearby just to make sure you got it.
Yeah. So you guys did a good job on the rally. I enjoyed your car. I really like Dave Carpenter's, but only because I had a friend with a Cressida and we used to just like tune that everywhere in San Diego.
Yes.
That's what you do with the Cressida.
At one point on the rally, another team, we were stopped talking with the guys with all the air-cooled Volkswagens, and they mentioned Dave to himself. It's like, hey, do you guys know there's a guy that races these in Lemons? Dave's like, I said, yeah, that guy's a jerk.
I hear he's a stunning, good-looking fella.
Yeah, he had really good posts too, because it was just him eating food, watching you work on your car.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
That's what we do. That's a thing.
Tradition.
Yeah, it would just be helping, and I was like, yeah, that's really funny. So every time he did that, I gave extra points for that. And maybe that's the best way to get points, is make us laugh.
There you go. So so we actually
we will actually link a story in our show notes that Bradley Brownell wrote for Jalopnik about buying your midget. So.
Yeah, that was a bad choice on his part. He thought Porsches were bad.
Well, I think the title of it is "What Do I Do with This Dumb $300 MG I Bought?"
Yeah,
it was weird too, because we had just won like an award from Moss Motors, and like they were all like these famous British car people that I had no idea who they were because they were like 70. I was like, I don't know who you are, but thank you. And so we like do this big dramatic sale, and it was for $300.
Well, I mean, it was a crashed midget that was put together again. I believe you said with rocks.
Yeah, those headlights. Yeah. Its
So-
official's name was Bridget the Midget.
Yes.
So yeah.
Thank you. I did remember that. Now that you say that. So we actually all kind of met on cross-country rallies. We were doing the BLAAAH rally, the Big Apple to Big Easy, which is previous to Lemons, and ended up getting into Lemons because we won the Wartburg and promised to do it, the BLAAAH rally, a Lemons race, and the Grassroots Motorsports Challenge all in the same car.
Ooh.
So we
which was
that was terrible.
Warsaw Pact.
Yeah, terrible.
That's okay.
That's wacky. So what I wanted to say was
you made a choice.
The choice made us, I should say.
Yeah.
My favorite rally cars. So here's some of the machines that I've rallied in. We did the Wartburg. We did a Saab 85 Saab 900 notchback.
Nice. Very
cool.
That was
nice. That was very cool. Everyone Saab people were like, that's worth so much money. After the rally, couldn't find any of those suckers.
Yeah.
I did it. I bought a $200 Miata. I had an E30 and the bane of my existence, a 73 Lincoln Continental triple green.
I literally have a Lincoln Continental shirt.
Oh.
One of my favorite cars I ever had was a 76.
It almost
terrible.
Killed part of Jeff's soul.
It broke 6 times between Staten Island and Virginia the first day.
Yeah,
I blew mine up all over Missouri.
Yeah. We all up and down the East Coast is what, and up and down, right? Yes, down.
Yeah.
And then
because we
back up.
drove it home. We were stupid. We kept our cars, and that was an error.
I always drove them home, but then they just had to go.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well.
Yeah. And I lived in Minnesota at the time, so we were driving to dumb places.
Yeah. A lot.
They just go to live on a farm. You sign the title, you take the plates, you leave that on the side of the road. Good.
We did that with the Fiero, actually.
Yes.
Legit did that with the
Went to
Fiero.
live on a farm. Yes. There may or may not have been a Cadillac in Arizona.
Yeah. Right. Yep. That happened.
I'm even familiar with the truck stop that it's at.
I think ours was behind a hotel.
That's private property.
Next to a dumpster behind a hotel is what we did. Ours. Yeah, that's where ours is.
Motel 6 in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Actually, I can't get the article pull up because Jalopnik got completely
sold again.
But I am going to do this real quick. So this is going to be a terrible share, which the participant has disabled.
Oh, I had sharing open. I thought. Hold on, let me get there. Advanced sharing options.
But
all participants can share. Go ahead. Now try again.
Try a fourth time. All right, here we go. This is the picture post. I think it's before the rally, but
Oh, that's behind Santa Cruz. So the one that's in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah,
that's at the last checkpoint. Or the last night. So that's what we stayed at this incredibly overpriced hotel in Santa Cruz. And we were just so tired. I was like, you just want to sleep outside. People were nice enough to give us a room, but I just didn't want to pay for a room. We had 4 hours until we had to leave.
Yeah, it's just wasting money, really. You're just renting a shower at that point, which you could have
pretty much
borrowed from somebody else.
Yeah.
All right, so you participated.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in charge of these rallies?
Like I said, I became friends with Eric, and then Kim.
And we know he has no friends.
He has a lot. It's so many friends, so many more than me. He's always like, I'm going to bring my friend Ellen to judge, and I'm like, oh, okay.
He's a respected person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's the beard.
And the mellifluous deep baritone voice.
I was going to say, it's
definitely.
that, or his Midwestern sensibility.
It's
all of these things.
His unflappable, even keel Midwestern sensibility.
Yeah. So Kim had me start working for races. And then Eric and I just started hanging out, and I just Route 66. I had my Lincoln Continental on, and the front seat was gone, so I could sleep in it while I was driving. That's actually the only part of the Lincoln I still have. It's a chair at my house.
You were sleeping while you were driving?
No, excuse me. During the event, Eric was sleeping while I was driving, but it turned out to be a great photo car. So we were able to ride. Yeah, and I would just hold on to his pants while he leaned out from the back seat. Yeah, and we got some great photos. So I think that's probably where we bonded the most. So racing and just everything car related is really just who you make friends with. It's the weirdest job on the planet to get. I'm still not sure how I'm here, but hopefully they still like me.
Done a few of these, I can absolutely say that the all the participants really, and I'm not pumping up your ego, everyone likes you that shows up at the events.
I hope so. I try to be nice. I try not to like slip into that army mentality where I'm just like, you're an idiot, stop being an idiot.
Well, actually, but in this circle, it's kind of a compliment,
helps.
you know. Wow,
Yeah.
You're an idiot. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Three
I mean,
250-pound guys in a bench seat on on a diesel Dodge. You guys are idiots.
That was awful.
Welcome.
Yeah.
when the best thing you can shout to somebody as they drive by an Lemons paddock is like, "Poorly done."
Yeah. I always say, poor job. Like when you congratulate them for winning, and some of the people who aren't like in Lemons like look at you like offended. You're like, no, that's a good thing. I promise.
The worst thing to yell at somebody is $500 car my ass. Somebody drives through in a Corvette and you're like, ah.
Well,
We had a good time with that.
Or
because
whatever, real racer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But with the rally, though, it's just to be clear, because you have to be street legal. The $500, it's the spirit of the $500 car, not the actual $500 car.
Yeah. So I can't imagine that we have anybody who doesn't know exactly what a Lemons rally is. But can you give us like the 3-sentence mission statement or description as you see it, because I think that's important. We can all read the website, but tell us what you see it as.
When I cold call whatever place I want to start at, I always just explain that it's a crap camp scavenger hunt across the United States. And that seems to make it work. Because when you use the word rally, for a lot of people, they think like, WRC or Group B, that's what they imagine. And they're like, well, why do you want to be in my parking lot? Well, it's like, no, that's not exactly what it is. So it's more just a scavenger hunt with a car. I think that's the best way to describe the Lemons rally.
Mm-hmm. Great. And
how might not make it.
These are usually questions we ask rude, but we're going to test you anyway. How many are on the schedule? And tell us about the schedule. What's new? What's special? What's different?
So there's 6 on the schedule this year. Rude and I try to push for more, but we were unable to. Jay promised back in the new and exciting would be Jay promised during the pandemic to have an Alaska rally, and so we've done that. That's going to happen this year. It's sold out. It's the first rally. Right? It took about
pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the first rally we've put a cap on, and that's just because the logistics of going to Alaska.
Yep.
I mean, I literally, because I have like my news feed including Alaska, and there was literally 2 people killed by a polar bear today. So, and because
what could go wrong with this?
Yeah, and because
polar or grizzly, because I feel like
it was a polar bear. It was farther up north, but because of the weather, they cannot recover the bodies right now. And the police had to explain to everyone that if you could just hold on to them for a little while, that'd be great.
So the question is, what's worse,
outside.
Getting killed by a polar bear or being so far up north they're like, just let your body stay there. That's fine.
Yeah, it's really it seemed Dominic Cordell, Julian Cordell's brother's been helping us with it. It just, unless you're like in the Fairbanks, Anchorage area, the rest of Alaska is like that. And that's where we're going. So that's why we limited it.
And that's why I
places
asked
about the hotels, even like, where do you put everybody up in all these terrible cars?
Isn't there
a mandatory
recommend
ferry
hotel
ride too? So
it's not mandatory. It's worth a lot of points. And apparently there's a great hot dog place at the end of it. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, you would know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your backdrop would be your
yeah, there's a good hot dog place at the end of it. So those are called inadvisable checkpoints. So those are the ones where if you really want to have like an 18-hour day, like go ahead and go to that place and have an 18-hour day. If you want to roll in at like 7 o'clock and come eat dinner with me, don't do that one.
Right. And so you for the truly sadomasochistic, you've still got that flavor for them. And I was asking up at the Bears because where you're doing the rally, not so much polar bear country, but certainly grizzly country.
Definitely. We're more concerned about moose. We've been reading a lot of articles about moose.
More people die in Alaska from moose attacks than they do from bear attacks.
Yeah. Like I would say, and it says it in the waiver and it says it on the website, like this is going to be the toughest one. It's not going to be the longest one by any means. World Tour of Texas, that hell crawl was the longest one. Yeah. But this one's going to be the toughest one for sure.
Yeah.
And so were you on that world tour? Was that the Cimarron or the other one that didn't make it?
He was on the Texas That was Texas Rattle Traps.
Oh,
Texas
that's
World
right.
Tour was Steve's last one, and he just found a bunch of towns in Texas with like international names, and they did
like
the
Paris, Texas.
They did the perimeter of Texas. It was insane. There were cars that were so slow that mathematically they could not complete the day.
I remember we had every bit of weather. It was right after MSR Houston. We left, drove into a sleet storm. And
yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and then tornado warnings when we were up near the Panhandle, and then roasting when we started getting back close. But it started in Houston, and damn if we did not do. It was damn near. It was over 2,000 miles. I want to say
it was like 2,600. It was
Jesus.
Insane.
It was a lot.
What car did you bring on that one, Mental?
That was I was with Donnie and Steph in the Cimarron on that one.
Oh, that was the Cimarron?
Yeah, that was. And then we had the follow-up with the failed Cadillac rally car.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I got.
A small fortune replacing everything on that car but the alternator.
Yeah. That's what I was getting confused. Yeah. Someone owns the Cimarron now.
Jason.
Jason does. Stunt Granny.
He's in the iRacing League, and my understanding is he's got plates on it and he's driving it every day.
Good.
That is still an obnoxiously good car.
Yeah, it's a nice car.
Yeah,
you all are crazy if you think a Cadillac Cimarron. What was it, an 88, 80, something like that?
It's a 5-speed, man, with brown velour interior.
No. It was fantastic. It is not a nice car.
No.
As
the model year is equivalent to its
really
horsepower
nice.
too.
Exactly. Oh yeah, totally. It was great.
Oh boy.
We're
talking
an RPM red line.
Yeah. So we're talking cars here. We've talked a lot about some of the cars here. What do you think that the teams should be doing? I don't know, to their cars, before they go on a rally. Like, okay, so I bought a slag. Mm-hmm. What do I do to make it rally eligible? Not eligible, rally survivable.
Survivable? Yeah, survivable is questionable for everyone. I mean, if you bring a car that looks like it's going to last, I'm not going to be a huge fan of it. People show up in Camrys, and I'm like, I'm glad that you're there and it's exciting, but you're probably not going to win anything unless you do something absolutely hilarious.
Get a tattoo.
Cut off the roof.
Get a tattoo. Cut off the roof.
Make it a bathtub.
On the last fall Village, there was a team that they had their grandma's Buick, and they cut a hole in the roof and then made it like a sliding shutter out of the metal that was left over.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure, it was watertight.
Yeah.
So I think what you're saying is the level of preparation or damage or decoration is like inversely proportional to the ability for the car to finish the rally.
I would say, in my experience, and the race is getting back towards it, but when I first started with the races, I had the feeling that theme had become significantly less important. And it's coming back now. But with the rally, theme and how dumb your car is will always be the most important thing. A good example is Team Punch Raff. They had the mini minivan.
They just sold it, and a local radio station had a headline that said, "The ugliest car in the state has left the state."
Yeah. It was actually on a website called, it was Minnesota Shittest, not shittiest. They spelled shittiest. It said Minnesota Shittest cars. And it was on there all the time. But I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they had
please describe it, because even if we know, our listeners don't.
They had cut up a GMC van and then cut the body off of a Mini Cooper and then welded the van onto the top of the Mini Cooper. But there was still a lot of Mini Cooper body left. So there were all these random holes cut into hoods and stuff. So like Drew could refill the power steering, or Drew could change the coolant. And when it ran on the first rally, there was so much overhang in the back that they had to they just kept on like cutting it up and up and up. So it would be able to just go over
curves. On their Instagram, like they'd be on the freeway and you would just hear.
Yeah, you just watch sparks.
Yeah, Metzel, do you remember their Instagram? I'll look for it.
No,
it's Team Punch Rock.
It's out there. We're gonna put a hashtag or a link to just searching hashtag Lemons Rally, which if that's not on your Instagram, you're missing out because there's some classic stuff in there. That's how the Boba Fett's Vet. That was awesome.
Yeah, Tom did a great job with that. But Drew and Leah, they bring some bad cars. They made a bus out of a Nissan pickup. Like they do some just horrible cars. Yeah, so that's on the last rally.
The bus out of the pickup they themed as the Muppets van.
I saw the article that talked about being the ugliest. There it is. The ugliest car in Minnesota just drove away to Michigan.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite couples on the rally for sure. At the end of the Great River Road rally, they threw a party at one of the pizza places, and some of the people showed up, and that was a good time. It's hard to throw an event at the end of the rally because a lot of people just want to go home.
Yeah,
or
I don't blame them.
Yeah, you can't blame them. It's you're just so tired.
That is some epic stuff. So we talked about prepping the car, and then you definitely you're talking about themes and that kind of stuff. But what's the quickest way to get under your skin with an attitude if they show up at a rally?
So you mean in a negative way, or
absolutely, yeah.
Well,
well, actually, you know what? Give us both. What you like? You walk up and go, "I love this people."
Well, I mean, I know like I'm a tall, bald guy, but I always liked improv. So if you have good bits and you make good jokes, I'm always going to be a fan. Just hand down, just like the 24 Hours of Lemons, the race series. Safety violations are just it's a hard line. On the first Route 66, someone decided to post themselves drinking while driving, so that wristband got pulled immediately. It's just not there. That is the way to get under my skin. You can be mean, you can call me stupid, but if you affect others inside of the rally, or if you're just doing super extra stupid stuff, that's the way to negatively get under my skin for sure.
Stupid illegal stuff.
Yeah, legal stupid stuff is fantastic. Stupid illegal stuff is just they haven't been back.
you are exposing the organization to liability, and everyone who listens to the show loves the organization.
Not only that, but dying's not cool, and killing someone's even worse.
They were in a big B body, like they could have done some damage. It was it's something that I watch out for. Like if I were to see you drinking somewhere at lunch, I'm pulling your wristband. You're done. That's just our track is hot until we're done for the night.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
that's great
practice.
That's excellent. Good.
And how about get on your good side?
Yeah,
like I said,
improv. Improv. You did say that.
Yeah. Build stupid cars.
Yeah.
Dress up like an idiot. Stay in the same costume the whole time.
And
works great.
That's excellent. Now
we like costumes.
I got sick of my jorts by the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
Were they my jorts, or did you have?
I had my own jorts.
Okay.
I still had one pair of jorts for a whole rally. It's like, oof.
We started this with an entire bit about when I'm done with a rally car, it's gone. I'm sending it to the great beyond, or it blows up on the way home. There's a lot of people, maybe they don't have space for a junker car or time to work on one. What are some, if you're not trying to win at all cost, which is probably the wrong attitude anyway, what are some other ways folks can get in and do a Lemons rally?
Well, last year we opened up a rental car class. So the sketchier the rental agency, the more points you get. You get points for mismatched tires. You get points for, just having a good story. Because we realize that, like Mental said, just not everyone can, and some people are intimidated by working on cars, but they like driving. And so that's not like I don't feel like that's a requirement we need to have. If you're uncomfortable with working on cars, not only is there like a good community and people will follow you around and help you, just bringing a normal car, as long as you stick to theme and do a bunch of funny, dumb stuff, like I'm going to be rooting for you.
And run parts for the people who break.
Yeah. Bob from NSF Racing, during the Southern Heats rally. Yeah, well, actually he did, because he brought a Pan America car that he ran in the 90s, and it just leaked oil everywhere inside the cabin, but he stayed in his air-conditioned Expedition and followed them around the entire rally. So,
all right.
it never went onto the trailer, but he was just like, yeah, I don't want to be in there. So he stuck his daughter in there and one of his friends. He actually won the With Friends Like These, Who Needs Enemies award.
There you go.
Good.
Why is his name escaping me? The guy from Dallas, Texas. He's not keen on racing, but he's always shows up with something.
Aaron? Andy.
Thank you. Yeah.
He
always has something fun.
Yeah, there's Instagram name is Fort Kickass. I like those guys a lot.
Because nothing can hurt you at Fort Kickass, and they donated one to a camp for kids that were whose parents were killed in law enforcement and that kind of stuff. He's done some, and he has shown up with some really, really great cars, and he doesn't like. I think he likes wrenching on them in his garage. He does not like fixing them on the side of the road.
No, definitely not. But it's
there are
always
a
good
lot
to see them.
of Fort Kickasses on Instagram.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not surprised.
I'll recognize him. So yeah, but we can keep talking about this one. Sorry, so we got the different ways. Who's got the next question while I'm looking this up?
Lessons learned on the way. So like, what have you learned along the way if you're doing these rally stuff? Whether it was you doing it yourself, watching other people make mistakes. I mean, what can our listeners learn from the mistakes of others? Because we're all about learning from our mistakes, and we make
well, it's nice to have participated in a rally, and now I plan the rallies. One thing I learned is that people don't want to drive 900 miles a day. Well, some people do. Like 20% of rally participants do, and I'm one of them. But it's fun to socialize with these idiots who are also doing idiotic things across the United States. Yeah. Or like Jim Forbes. I mean, his brother David, he's run a few rallies. Like, he is part of the team that helped the black hole map the black hole. Like, these are like, we have it just like the races, like incredibly intelligent people that you never would have met without a common love of really dumb cars. So shortening the days, and Eric and I decided to shorten the days and just allowing that social aspect to kind of like happen organically. That's probably the biggest lesson, is that, the death marches definitely, like, it's a badge of honor, but like I said, I was in the Army. Like, you do dumb stuff for medals. Like, it doesn't really help you in life. It didn't get me more friends or anything like that. But the people you meet along the way are really what the resource is, though. What else? Mistakes. No one changes their fuel pump. Change your fuel pump. Fuel filters and fuel pumps. Bring fuel pumps, bring fuel filters. Also, all the fuel pumps that they sell at O'Reilly's, they're partially gravity fed, so they have to be lower than the fuel tank. Otherwise, you're going to burn it out over and over again. So that's probably
advice you can use.
Yeah, seriously.
I changed our fuel pump when I got home after nursing it.
Somebody had brought an MG to fall foliage, not the red one, it was a blue one. And he's like, it's kind of stuttering. And I was like, it's your fuel pump. He's like, nah, I just think I'm out of tune. I'm like, it's your fuel pump. And a day later, it was my fuel pump. I'm like, yeah, I know. But it happens.
Imagine, I've done this before. Yeah. This is the Fort Kickass that and this is some of the stuff. The Middle International right there, Jeff, that you'll like.
Oh, I like that. I see that.
Is an airport tug.
Yes. Yep, I can see that.
And he did
I like that blazer that's next to it.
And stuff like that. Yeah, he always has something cool.
Yeah, he sends me a lot of pictures. I like going to Texas and hanging out with him and his wife. Also, I don't know if any of you have. He and I have discovered that there's a common theme among Lemon's rallies. We all have dachshunds. Well, a lot of dachshunds. Yep, you got a dachshund. Yep. I have two. They're upstairs right now because they won't shut up. But so many people that do lemon stuff have dachshunds. It's really
Who
weird.
knew?
Yeah,
and
it's just,
and an even larger percentage rescue. Like almost
Mhm.
everyone in Lemons that has a rescue pet, has a pet, it's a rescued pet.
yeah.
Come on, everyone in Lemons is all about
Yeah, I was gonna
adopting
say.
poor neglected things.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
not a
Being
small dog?
okay with the imperfect.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The,
Like,
the races don't pay a lot, but I am there for the dogs. I don't really care about you guys. I'm there for the dogs.
that's fantastic. Let me see here. So a lot of people who are listening to our podcast, we have a lot of race listeners, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Probably not as many rally listeners.
Yet.
Why should the person who's listening right now, who's never done a rally, do a rally?
You know, it's weird because I've been working for Lemons for quite a while now, and because of that, I've never raced. I never had the time to go racing. I got my gear, like my past history. I drove cars fast and did stupid stuff, but like I've never raced. So it's definitely a different kind of challenge. Working safety for you guys, I watch you fall out of your cars from heat exhaustion and stuff like that. So I would say that it's a different kind of social. It's like a whole day social. Like you hang out with these people, you end up in convoys. It's just a little bit more laid back. You don't have to build a 3-wheeled cart. You don't have to, actually our percentage of possibility for injury is probably higher because we're on stupid roads. But it's something that I will take you to places that you'll never see. Like
I think actually that is a great pitch to make, because I go to New England 3 times a year, and they say, Jeff, was it beautiful? I say, I don't know. I saw the car.
Yep.
I was under the car. I literally, I don't drive through New Hampshire unless it's dark and I'm towing a race car trailer.
Yeah, and we don't use interstates unless it's, we had to use an interstate during the Four Corners rally because Flagstaff was on fire. I've been
Flagstaff. That might help.
We make your windshield look good. So that's what Eric and I strive to do. We want to make your windshield look good. So that's the difference between a race and a rally. Definitely.
Yeah. And I've driven across America a bunch of times. If you've never done that, if you've never gotten off the beaten path and gotten out of your region of the country, you're really wasting your life, because just the difference between, we live in the Northeast, I'm in Jersey. Once you get past Ohio, it's a different planet. When you get to, South Dakota, it's another different planet. When you get to the Pacific Northwest, the trees are the Southwest is gorgeous. And if you've flown into Phoenix for a conference, you've never seen it.
Oh no, definitely not. I've talked to Mental about that. One of the rallies went to the outskirts of Las Vegas, and that's definitely my favorite part of Las Vegas. I hate the gambling part of Las Vegas. I think it's awful, but the surrounding city and the surrounding area is absolutely beautiful. And I think a lot of people miss out on that. They're under the slot machine versus the car, but you're missing out on that. Also, all racetracks are in horrible places.
Oh, terrible.
They're such horrible places. Everyone's like, I get to travel so much. And I'm like, yeah, I go to Camden, South Carolina. It's must be so much fun.
Well, but the point that you're making,
they're okay.
It's not bad.
If you've lived on the East Coast, that the last Texas rally that Donnie and I attempted, there is something to a sunset that takes 90 minutes to happen. And I
don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
Also, another big difference between the East Coast and just the American West is population density. Like when we do the retreat from Moscow, we start in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is kind of like Moscow, Pennsylvania, and it's difficult to get people to the middle of nowhere. Like in New Mexico or Arizona, it's about an hour, and you'll see no one ever again. Like for the rest of the rally, you won't see anyone.
Until you're dead on the side of the highway
Pretty
under
much.
your
Polar bear.
TR7.
Is
Well-
this a selling point? Maybe you should.
No,
I don't know.
I think it is. I feel like it is. Do you
I meant
really
the
want
dead
to-
on the side of the road.
Oh,
part.
yeah. Okay.
Oh,
You're not
come
really
on.
going to die.
I've been in
That
some
is
places
a-
in Montana where it's like no one's ever going to find me. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Your phone doesn't work. You don't. The only thing you have to focus on is getting your crap can to the next checkpoint. It's kind of zen-like.
All right.
That's
I'm sold. I love it. What's either you did it or you saw it, your favorite rally story?
I think a lot of people probably know this one by now. It was the first rally, the first Hell on Wheels. We went through Death Valley, which apparently is illegal, and we could have gotten a gigantic fine. So if you're wondering why we don't go through national parks anymore, that's why we got a very strongly worded letter. So there was a guy on like a 75cc Honda, and he was dressed up like Luigi, like in Mario Kart. And his motorcycle,
a 75cc motorcycle in a costume
On the
in
rally.
Death Valley.
in Death Valley. And this
In
is
Death Valley.
August. So it's like, it's during car
Oh
week.
no.
So I
Oh.
think it was about 113 when, none of us had air conditioning, but it was about 113. Team Mustang, I think it was Mustang. It's all kind of a blur because we all had heat exhaustion. Found him just passed out on the side of the road. Like he had come to a stop and
no.
no, he was like, because you were talking about being dead on the side of the road.
Yeah.
He
Like
literally was almost dead on the side of the road. He had not drank enough water. I think his name was Jeff Frasca. Not drank enough water, not eaten enough food, like just had completely not prepared for desert life. He was from the Bay Area.
in a costume.
In a Luigi
Yeah.
costume.
Because,
So like
they're
a
made out of like
polyester-
polyester. They're not the breathablest fabric in the
super
world.
breathability,
Yeah.
a lot of sun
Was he
protection.
wearing the head?
Yeah, everything.
That's like so unsafe.
Fake mustache, giant hat.
Oh no, but not
Uh,
like a head, right?
no,
not like
no, not-
okay,
not
so
like
not
a-
like you
not like a-
can't look. Okay,
No,
okay.
no.
I'm sorry.
We
That's what I was
wouldn't let that
picturing.
happen. Yeah,
That's
he
safety
wore
gear.
a helmet.
I know,
Right.
Okay.
So that's safety gear. So they find him on the side of the road. They get him into the car and take him and like literally save this guy's life. Their car was overheating, so they had their hood strapped to the roof, their diesel Mercedes. One of the guys just hopped on the motorcycle and followed along, and they got to the next stop for the night, and like they literally saved that guy's life. So that's that kind of just speaks to they didn't know each other, they'd never spoken to each other, but that kind of speaks to the camaraderie of it. There's an idiot passed out in a Luigi costume on the side of the
Especially
road.
That
he
must
sounds
be with
very
us.
very good natured, right? So I
Yeah,
feel like
like-
you're like that kind
We
of
must
people.
know him. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. He must be in the rally. They weren't sure he was in the rally. That guy must be in the rally. So they, saved this guy's life. Which also kind of, frames Eric and I's decisions when we're riding rallies. Like, do we want to have a guy dead on the side of the road? I don't.
No.
Again. Yes.
We'll get you close,
Again.
but not all the way there. Yeah. So that's definitely my favorite rally story. It's a little bit more
and
harrowing.
also,
and-
is it also why there's no more motorcycles allowed?
Correct. Yeah, that's the other thing. People keep on asking, can I bring my motorcycle? I would probably let like a Morgan three-wheeler or like, Speedy
Robin.
Cop
Yeah.
brought a Robin. It was on the trailer the whole time. And maybe on my MG Midget, it said, no trailer. But it was still a Robin Reliant. And so those are, even though in some states those are considered motorcycles, I would definitely say yes to that. And also, there just aren't a lot of car rallies, and there's tons of motorcycle rallies. So if they want to participate in a motorcycle rally, there's a lot of opportunities for them out there. So, and we're more than welcome to have them in a car or something else stupid, but just not a motorcycle.
Makes sense.
Probably a smart choice.
Yeah, because a guy almost died.
Yeah. Well,
reason.
I think that's fantastic. I have one more question for you because you're getting the Alaska rally that you always wanted.
I didn't want, no. No. Julian Cordell tricked Jay into saying yes, and now Eric and I are planning.
All right.
They're helping. Julian and Dominic are doing an outstanding job. It's just, this is definitely the hardest one that we've ever planned. So
is there somewhere you want to go that you haven't gone yet?
So I always bring it up to Eric. I mean, we've pretty much been everywhere. I mean, honestly.
I mean, you have been like the Florida Keys. You haven't gone to Key Bridge, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
That was the first South rally. Yeah, Steve sent him to the Florida Keys. Like, so we've been a lot of places. So I would, and it, unfortunately, because Lemons and Le Mans are so close together and there might be some trademark issues, it would be really cool to go to England, I think. I go to Germany to see family every Christmas. I think it would be really cool to do a rally through Germany. But because of trademark issues, it's probably not going to happen. But it would be a lot. I think like an international rally would be a lot of fun.
And more than just Canada, because you're going to be in Canada, right?
Yeah, but I actually, well, we're not going to Canada during the Alaska rally, but there's Lawrence is from Timmins, Ontario, I think. It's way up north. Like it's like closer to the Arctic Circle than it is to the US border. And they've run so many rallies in like all these shitty cars, and they drive. They don't fly in, they drive from Timmins, in Canada.
Gosh.
So I have talked to him. I'm like, hey, do you think we could do a rally? He's like, well, you couldn't start it here because there's no hotels. But like he owns a shop up there. Like, so like an Arctic Circle rally would actually probably be a lot of fun. Something like that. That would be hard. Like really hard.
or Mexico.
Mexico has other issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Polar bear drug smugglers. God.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, like they're in active combat right now after they got Chapo's son. So, I mean, I guess you could get bonus points if you catch a couple rounds.
Timmins doesn't look that far. Let me share this screen.
It's thousands of miles above the border.
Yeah, do you understand that the Earth is a giant ball, right?
A ball, right?
It's not a flat Earth thing.
And then on top of that, you have to realize 90% of the Canadian population lives within like 50 miles of the U.S. border.
Yeah, because the Arctic Circle is right around here-ish. So
yeah,
it's pretty close.
He's pretty close. Surprisingly enough, his son plays hockey.
No way.
I
If you said he swam on an Olympic team, then I'd be a little bit more surprised.
Yeah.
Not a big golfer up there.
Yeah,
like golf.
I like Lawrence. I would like to do a rally in Canada for him, like literally just for that guy.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to open it up to everybody. Do we have any last questions for Jeff Stobbs before we move on?
I'm good.
Yeah. Other than thank you for
all right. Let's
us.
pimp all the. But before we get to thank yous, let's pimp all the social media. Where can they find out more about the Lemons races, Lemons rallies? Specifically, if there's any one rally you want to pimp that's open now, go ahead and do it.
Our next rally is Retreat from Moscow. That's going to be from more or less Scranton, Pennsylvania, even though there's checkpoints in Moscow, all the way down to Barber. And so it ends at the racetrack on Friday night when everyone's kind of pulling in and having fun. So we're going to go from Scranton to Morgantown, from Morgantown, West Virginia is weird, to Bristol, Virginia.
Yes,
from Bristol to the Lane Museum in Nashville. So we're having meet up there. You'll end up with a private tour.
Very nice.
Rally. Yeah, they've done that for us before. Very cool. That same day, we're going to run the Tail of the Dragon again. Judd with the resort, the Tail of the Dragon resort up there, giving us some parking lot space to hang out at. And then from Nashville, we'll end up in Birmingham, which is, actually Leeds, Alabama at the Motorsports Park. The only other thing is...
we can tell you about a great hotel in Birmingham, Alabama.
I don't have to... Nah, Kim handles that. Okay.
Yeah. That's over a beer at a Lemons race story.
There you go.
Yeah.
Chris couldn't find his room, and somebody from the desk said, the police aren't done with it yet.
Oh, okay.
And then I stood outside and talked on the phone while drug deals happened, and I didn't really get involved.
Sometimes unintentionally, I might rent a hotel room or recommend a hotel room when we're in small towns. That is definitely happening.
Oh, yeah.
And I stay up, stressing up all night, just like looking out the window, making sure nothing bad happens.
The police pulled in and said, "You're not parking all those cars here, are you?"
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then
anyway, keep going.
Yeah, after that, we have the next Texas Rattle Traps. That's going to start at Harris Hill in San Marcos, Texas. go out to Denton, down to Houston. I think it's kind of down and over to Houston. And then we're going to end up back at the racetrack at Harris Hill. They ran the Southern Heats Rally and that super cool Studebaker. And they probably would have won if I didn't catch them driving it on the trailer behind their like $1 million RV. So,
but they stole the part from the museum, right? Is that what it was?
They didn't steal the part. They called it, owning a racetrack probably has a lot of benefits. And they said, hey, water pump broke on our Studebaker. Where can we go? And someone knew that there was this museum that had this wrecked Studebaker from a movie, and they were able to take the water pump from it. And they were able to rescue their car. They also had like a traveling margarita bar because they're like theme was Jimmy Buffett. So at the end of every night, they would set up a margarita bar for everyone.
Oh, this sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So,
that's like when we did shots on the back of the Fiero and we lit them on fire every night. We did that.
Nice. So, and then if anybody's up in Scranton, so that's probably just Garage Heroes in training and like 30 other people that live there.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Our pre-rally meetup's going to be January 30th at 5 p.m. at Cooper's Seafood House, which looks super kitschy, and I'm pretty sure I can find a captain's hat to wear. So
I could bring you one. I mean,
those are actually, no, I have a full-on Napoleon costume this time. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But everyone always just thinks I'm an admiral. They're like, are you an admiral? And you're like, no, it's the retreat from Moscow, people.
That's because you're a giant. The whole thing about Napoleon is he's supposed to be a short guy.
Okay, you work at a school, you should know that he was average height. Everybody was 5'8" back then.
For the time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, that's awesome. Look up the hashtag Lemons Rally on Instagram to see all these fantastic pictures.
And the Lemons Rally in actual Instagram.
Yeah, yes. And that's at Lemons Rally. And then we have the Lemons Rally Facebook page, and then the unofficial Facebook page that's run. It's kind of like the unofficial 24 Hours of Lemons. It's just the Lemons Rally discussion page. That would be the other one. That's where you can actually get real answers from real participants and not just snarky ones from Eric and I.
Got it. That's awesome.
Love it.
Well, I am still trying to struggle to find the time off to do a full Lemons Rally. It's been years since I've been on a rally, so maybe never will. Fall
Village is only 3 days.
It was pretty easy, Jeff. I got to say, even with my Corvette braking all the time. Despite having worked on it for months ahead of time.
I think that was the problem, Chris. I mean, the best.
And then I drove it around a bunch too. I drove it. I put a couple 100 miles on it.
Yeah, drove it to the Cape.
Just to Cape Cod, and that's when it broke down. And then kept going, right.
So how do you feel about the Sunrunner just dominating you then?
Oh, totally fine.
What was the Sunrunner?
It was the guys that ran with no top.
Oh.
It's a GMC. It's a GMC version of a Sidekick that they sold in Canada. It's the guys
that's right.
It's the guys. Right. Two of the guys from the Miata, the Vineyard Vines Miata, were the ones running that.
Yeah, they're good guys too. And it was weird too because they wore like wigs the whole time that looked like Mental's hair. And then at the award ceremony, they took it off, and they both had my haircut, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
They had you fooled. That's a good wig in a convertible, and it looks real.
Yeah, whole time I wrote in the back. It was great.
That's fantastic. All right. I think we're going to move on to our final segment. Mental, I think you have something to share with us, don't you?
Last night, I got a call from my racing buddy that I've done the 25 hours of Thunderhill with. Admittedly, he was a few beers into the evening, but he has an idea based on one of his new racing friends who, when not driving a race car, is trying to be fuel efficient and bought a Prius. And the entire idea is spec Prius. And the reason is you spec the tires, the brakes, you keep the cost down, but you open up the ability to hack the car. And that's how you get young people interested in racing. So the idea, hella sweet or but terrible, spec Prius.
You could attract hypermilers too. Those guys who put a bunch of like aerodynamic crap on their Prius so they can keep on going.
There you see.
Are you suggesting a spec Prius road race or a spec Prius rally? What are we talking about here?
Road race.
Okay.
You spec the tires, so you get some good cheap
sure
size
Douglas
tires.
extra track
on a track.
on a racetrack. Absolutely.
Fine.
There's a Prius that's been running out here on the West Coast that usually finishes in like the top third. And it's a bone stock Prius with like 300,000 miles on it.
There's you got a lot of questions, Mental.
We've driven that car.
They have their
Different
answer.
car.
That's the
All right.
indication.
Different car?
Chris.
Oh, well, we drove.
Chris.
Well, as one of two people on the screen who has actually raced a Prius on a road course, Sonoma, the best thing about it were full course yellows, because then you'd get the battery charged up and then you'd get one good lap.
One good lap.
And then you'd have to coast. And
Well, you have to change your brake dynamics, because you wouldn't brake as hard, but you'd lift early and lightly touch the brakes to get regen. And the rest of the time, foot on the floor. Handling was fine. I mean, flop from one bump stop to the other. No problem. I mean, the thing ran like a champ all weekend. Never hiccuped, of course.
oh, but don't push it. Oh, don't push it.
No.
But that's his point is that you can mess with the ECU and make it run differently.
Yeah.
You'd
So
have to
hella
spec
sweet or
larger
butt terrible?
batteries. They're too I'm gonna go butt terrible because they're too
I'm gonna
expensive
agree.
right now. There's too many people who are these are really good street cars and they're using them as street cars, and I don't think
Okay. Cause I see them for like $5,000 out here all the time.
Yeah, but that's a
second
good
gens.
commuter car price. I feel like there's something worse that would be more fun.
But it
or-
needs to be
or different fun.
hackable. So you're
Yeah.
you're attracting outside there. All right. So Chris says butt terrible.
I'm
Chrissy.
I'm
Agreed.
borderline. I could be talked either way.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
all right,
agreed. I drove one on track. It was nothing special. I'd rather drive many other things. So I'm good.
Jeff. Jeff Stobbs, the good looking Jeff.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. It'd be funny. I just like jokes. It's a good bit. So yes, it's hella sweet.
I got one hella sweet.
All right, you're about to get a second. Okay,
Yeah.
here's where it is. Since I am shopping for electric cars and doing all kinds of Googling, like how to build your own power wall, and everybody's
that'll go well after your electrified door.
Yes. So many people are doing such cool things with old electric car batteries. Right now, if you Google project Nissan Leaf battery, you can find 1,000 things to do with it. I think the people hacking batteries and electric car batteries need to jump back into motorsports. I think there's a fantastic idea. I think we'll see a lot of really weird, interesting things happen if you put a electric hybrid car series together and you gave them enough latitude to really mess with the power unit and the battery. That's my thought.
All right.
Hella
What
sweet.
do you think? There you go. I feel like we're broken down the middle. I'm leaning towards hella sweet. I think it would attract some very smart people who may not necessarily be into racing, but are into figuring out problems. What do you think?
Yeah.
Get a hold of us on
Guys
our
out
social
there
media.
like those engineers, right now, young Chris Egan is like, oh, hell yeah, I have 27 ideas for this.
Are you calling him old?
No, he's younger than Chris. He's like
young Chris Egan is always known as young Chris.
like his middle 30s,
yeah.
I think.
So let us know what you think. Prius Spec Series, hella sweet, but terrible. Get a hold of us on any of our social medias. Jeff, again, we can't thank you enough. This was fantastic. I've had a great time talking to you at the racetrack. If you see Jeff at the track, talk to him because he's an interesting person. He's really nice. He won't.
And if you can, get out there and do a lemons rally. You can take your significant other who would never be caught dead at a track. You could take your old college roommate who doesn't want to get race gear. There's a lot of reasons to do a rally.
Just make sure you like them a lot because you're going to spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
If you don't, you get really good stories.
We've had a lot of people who have quit racing and they bring their old race cars that they don't want to race in lemons anymore.
It's a great plan.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeff Stobbs, and thank you all of you out there for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We'll also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, rallying, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe, caress the like and subscribe button on that YouTube. You don't have to pound it, just touch it. Even if you hated us, subscribe. Play it while you're asleep. Play it on your friend's computer. Play it everywhere. Come Come on, people. You know what we're trying to do here. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers. Email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us, 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter, everyone.racers, YouTube, Facebook under Everyone Racers, even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless you're on a motorcycle, in a Mario outfit, in the desert. Then just keep those hydration bottles flowing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Always drink water. That's
Drink water,
that's my I guess that's my biggest tip. Drink water.
There you go.
Wear
Thanks, Jeff.
sunscreen.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I stopped.